Hello, this is Purge, bringing you guys the first person replay commentary. I'm doing a silencer game that I played a couple days ago. This is a pretty solid game that I had. It was a public matchmaking, it wasn't a ranked one. And I was playing with a couple friends, namely Moonhead and Jarhead, you should probably recognize. I haven't played silencer in a long time, I think. I'm not completely sure, but he's an okay hero in the meta right now, and he's a pretty competent solo mid. I can't remember if I randomed. I think I randomed a lot. I might have actually picked silencer on purpose this game. I don't exactly remember, but he's a strong hero. He really is. He has a lot of good spells that kind of transition him into the mid game. He has a good team fight ability. He has a good Aghanims upgrade, and he can also transition well into a DPS role because of his second skill, his passive, his Glaives of Wisdom, which does pure damage, which counters a lot of good heroes. Like it's good against high armor heroes. It's good against high magic resistant heroes. Magic resistance heroes. It's good against like Timbersaw. It's good against Dragon Knight. It's good against Huskar. Relatively good against Huskar. There's quite a few heroes that it's pretty darn good against. So I was pretty happy playing him in this game because I felt it gave a good demonstration of the hero, his strengths and things like that. I think when you play a silencer, it's good to have good map awareness, and that's something I personally have issues with. But if you can get over those issues, you can go pretty far. I don't really know why I chose to pick silencer this game, to be honest. It looks like I didn't random. I was like, silencer, yeah, I'm going to play silencer, which I almost never feel that way. So let's see what I went for item builds. Probably ended up going 3 Ironwood branches with a pooled tango or 2. So it'll probably take a second for me to get a tango or 2 tangos. Alright, there we go, 2 tangos. The reason most people do this build is because you can usually get away with getting your bottle in time. This build really hurts you when your opponent's solo mid or their supports come and gank you, because if your HP goes really low, you can only use one of the tangos every 60 seconds. So really it just kind of covers you against a little trading against your opponent. Any more than that, and it's really dangerous. So when you do go this build, you generally just want to get a fast bottle. I kind of think, looking back, I think I went the wrong item build because I'm going to be up against a Viper, which means that he's going to be last hitting and I'm going to be last hitting. If we do end up trading a lot, a fast bottle is a better build, but if you just go a no talisman build, you can generally outlast hit your opponent better. If I was versus something that was weak at last hitting like Shadow Fiend, I think a no talisman would be far superior. But you know, in this matchup, it's okay, because if I do spam a lot of spells, and I do plan to spam spells, Viper is going to have a lot of trouble keeping his HP full, for example. So if I get a bottle relatively fast, I can trade hits and I can cast mana a lot, and I can make use of my bottle charges. So things should go kind of okay. He actually didn't block at all, which is good for me. So I should get some free experience here. Last Word is a really good ability against Viper because he doesn't have any spells until he's level 6. So really solid for me. At this point I do realize that it's an illusion rune. Illusion runes at level 1 are actually quite good because it means that he's got about 60% more damage or something like that. Because each illusion does 28, I believe.
First blood. It was ours all along.
And this is basically the issue with the illusions. Makes it harder for me to last hit. I probably should be trying to kill the illusions before I was trying to last hit, I think. Because I would have had a lot more success just killing the illusions and then trying to last hit better than him. Unfortunately for me, they ganked at the right time.
Never hear the end of this.
To endless sleep.
I didn't trade that efficiently either way. I should have probably last word spammed a little earlier. I think that was a mistake for me. I maybe also, instead of running left, I should have just ran back to the tower, but when the gank came, I assumed that the other support was there as well, so I thought that running away from the gank was the appropriate move. If I would have ran back to my tower, I think I might have just made it, or at the very least I would have been able to juke under the tower. I didn't realize that until watching the replay.
Thank you.
But I think that would have been much better. I think I maybe should have left a tango and brought the extra Ironwood branch. I'm not entirely sure. I was hoping that I could silence him there, that way I could break his self, but he wisely did back away. So, at level 3, you do the most nuke damage if this is your skill build, at least I'm pretty sure. Because Last Word doesn't scale very well per level. The main reason that you do max out Last Word is to increase the silence amount, and also to decrease the cooldown. The cooldown goes all the way down to 12 seconds. So 1 point in Last Word does 150 magic damage, which is really good. And 2 points in A Curse of the Silent does 35 times 6, which is 3570 times 3, that's 210 damage. That's really good. So at level 3, you actually have 360 magic damage. That's really, really good for a hero. Curse of the Silent's really good against Viper again because it will proc, which means that he won't be able to attack for 3 seconds. Unfortunately for me, he was able to get the rune, so he's got a DD here, which means that my job's gonna be a little harder. And this game I kind of felt like just skipping the glaives for a bit. Using Curse versus Corrosive Skin is a bit of a pain in the butt though, because every time you do Curse of the Silent damage as it ticks, it reapplies the Corrosive Skin. But luckily for me, since the skin is only level 1, I actually don't take that much damage from it. I still think it's worth it to do though, because if I can keep his mana pool really low, it means when he hits level 6 that he's not going to end up doing, he's not going to be able to ulti and also orb walk me, so it keeps me slightly safe in my lane, I think. And also, as the Corrosive Skin goes away, I can just use a bottle charge, or if I trade 1 hit and take 1 Corrosive Skin hit, then it's really not that bad in my opinion to deal with. I'm not sure what his mana is like right now. Yeah, it's really low. I mean, he's only got a wand and he's got 20 mana. And like, I didn't know this, but he's got he's got 2 skill points and poison attacks. That means that I can pretty effectively trade with him. Wow, the catapult got that last hit. I think it's basically worth it to spend your mana to try to keep his HP a little bit lower. Especially when he doesn't have any mana regen left, I think it was definitely worth it for me to spend my mana this way. The major deterrence to this game though is that I didn't have a rune ward, so I wasn't really able to rune control like I might have liked to, and I could actually rune control about as good as the Viper could, but I didn't know where the rune was because the wards were misplaced by the supports. One of them was accidentally placed bottom, and the other one was placed top in an area that's really not very useful, so it would have been really nice to have ward vision. I didn't see him have a rune because I think I didn't catch him breaking invisibility, but I think I ended up buying myself wards this game because I was a little frustrated with not having them. Now I'm missing all my last hits. Got that one.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So I saw him right there, and I saw that he could see me, and I still placed the ward. And what I should have done is just ran away. I should have ran straight up as well.
No!
And I should have ran, like instead of running left to go around the trees, I should have ran right into the trees right away. And especially as soon as I saw the Bane, I should have walked away. As soon as I saw him. I don't play with enough respect for my opponents usually, so I always like assume everybody's really bad when I play the game, and it's a really bad way to play. It's really detrimental to my performance because all it takes is for somebody to cast sleep on me and then play not like an idiot and I'm gonna die. And just like I saw him that he could see me and he was there unexpectedly and I should have reacted. I should have dropped a ward. Maybe not on the rune spot or something. I'm not entirely sure, but I mean, I just played that so greedy, and it was so pointless to do it. There's no point tanking those gambles, basically, when the chances of it succeeding in a beneficial way for me is so low. Like all that I would have gotten out of that by assuming he was greedy is I would have gotten like, I don't know, I placed my ward down a little earlier, but it wasn't like I really needed it. I had already evaded the gank, essentially, so it was just really stupid. There's no point to do that. Again, missing last hits. You surprised? I'm not surprised. So the Jakiro grabs the regen.
You almost had that too.
I really should have had TP either way, actually. My position was shit regardless of the Bane being there. I think, yeah, there was a good chance that I was going to die there regardless, because all he had to do was ulti me and I would have died. I should have been holding a TP scroll. I don't even feel that bad about dying there, because I was going to die. I was playing stupid. I am getting ganked a lot, but I should have evaded probably all 3 ganks, actually. Well, what was the first one? All 3. I think I made mistakes in all 3 ganks. I didn't react to them properly, so I don't even feel that bad watching it now. When I was playing, I felt pressured, but like watching them now, I honestly just messed both of them up. I had to global silence this.
Is under attack.
This is when I realized you can bottle 3 level 1 corrosive skin. It's pretty good. I had a global silence there because if the Bane slipped me, I was most likely going to get cleaned up. This is actually the most depressing thing ever. I was like, he has that kill for sure. I was like, there's no way he can miss that. I missed that though. That was bad. So now I'm like out of mana. All I have is boots and a bottle. I'm dead 3 times. I've got really bad CS for the 50-minute mark. God, that's bad. I actually played like shit this early game. I played really bad. You can kind of see like where the pressure comes from on Silencer though. It's mostly in Curse of the Silent and Last Word being useful, but most people should get Glaives of Wisdom, by the way. Like almost everybody gets at least 1 point in Glaives of Wisdom because it helps you last hit better, and I probably should have done that as well because I could have last hit better versus the Viper. There were actually a lot of times where I like almost got a last hit and I missed it, and if I had 1 point in Glaives of Wisdom, I could have gotten an extra like 9 pure damage or something. It's not a lot, but it's enough to increase your last hitting, and I just really didn't feel like getting it this game, and I think that was a mistake. I made a lot of mistakes this game watching it now. It's really easy to see your mistakes when you're watching while not playing. But I really last hit bad this game, and I think I should have gotten a Glaives level. I think that would have been good. It actually does not set off Curse.
I clipped your wings.
One of the benefits of having all my skill points and nukes though is that I can get solo kills pretty easy. Curse of the Silent does like 400 magic damage actually, and Last Word is doing 200 right now, so I have like a Finger of Death essentially that I can use on somebody, which is pretty good. I knew the rune's not bottom, so I can grab the top.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh nice, I remember this part too. Wasn't sure if they saw me or not, but I wanted to go on these guys. I think that was the wrong person to go on. Oh, we really needed to get this over there. You should have been running right away. I think it was a mistake for Jarhead to stop moving. It was also a mistake for us to go on 2 tanky heroes. Like, for some reason I assumed that we would have disables. I think Jarhead should have gone on the Clockwork, not the Viper. That's the first mistake, because the Viper had like an extra 400 units closer to his tower. If he would have gone on the Clockwork instead, the Shadow Shaman probably could have caught up to the Clockwork and disabled him. And if that's the case, I could have right-clicked enough where we probably would have seen a kill, but either way, we did still go on tanky people. It's amazing how differently you see the game when you do a replay commentary versus how you play. Like when you, it's like, again, it's very, very simple to see issues when you're watching top-down, but when you're playing, it's like, it feels very different. Like when I was playing, I saw that like wasted fight where 2 of us died. I saw it as a we shouldn't have gone on these tanky heroes thing, but in reality, looking at it now, we could have gotten a kill there, but it should have been on Clockwork, and I could have communicated that better to the Phantom Assassin, and then he would have slowed at the right guy, and then because he slowed the right guy, the Shadow Shaman could have caught up, and we could have killed the right guy. All those things are really important. I thought that Viper was gonna die for sure. That was a mistake. I thought he was dead. That's why I didn't attack him. I was like, alright, his HP is gonna die from Chain Frost, I think. And he didn't. We only actually got 1 kill out of that, which is not good. I was pretty sad about that one.
Double damage.
A lot of people actually don't like maxing Curse out. I think some people actually just skip it for a lot of levels, but a lot of silencers right now do Ags first, because what it does is when it global silences, it also applies a Curse of the Silent to everybody on the map, which is actually really good. Again, it does like 400 magic damage, and it also drains your mana, drains people's mana by 32 times 6, that's like 180. That's pretty good. 200 mana burn, 400 damage to everybody. Especially if you global silence and then curse afterwards, they do stack, so you can do like 800 magic damage and drain 400 mana. It's actually really good for the start of the team fight. It makes Silencer a pretty good hero. I was really glad to get the treads finished though, because it does increase your right click damage a lot. And again, I don't have a lot of points in the passive right now, but casting's definitely a lot more important, I think, this game. Even though pure damage is going to hurt Viper a little more since he has magic
Dire's
resistance,
bottom tower is
I like
under attack.
team play implications a bit better. I got way too close there. I need to be way more careful about. And I should have been
Dire's
ready to.
structures are
Oh,
fortified.
that's right. I had my finger on the deny button. Is what I had. He attacked at the perfect time.
Dire's
So he got
middle
it.
tower has fallen.
I was hoping we could put up a better fight than that on the tower, but it didn't happen. So now I'm in kind of a weird place where my farm was absolutely bad. I only had treads and a wand, and I've got a lot of skill points into damage stuff, which is good. But they're kind of deathballing a bit more on us, and we didn't have a good time. I'm trying to tell him to go on this bottom right now. If he blinks and daggers and blinks, he should have gone right there. He was a little slow on that. Alright, and since he did use his arrow there was no chance of him surviving.
strikes.
That should have been a lot cleaner though. Like, Jerry should have jumped way earlier. I think he had how many levels of blur do we have, curiously? I'm pretty sure he had dagger up. Yeah, it looks like he did. It was only 1 level of blur, but I don't know. I guess
Dire's
that was a
top
close
tower
kill.
is under attack.
But that kill was really big. I'm able to deny a tower, which is fairly good for us.
Dire's bottom tower has been denied. Dire's top tower
That's a
has
good
fallen.
point. He didn't actually crit until he was already low, so I'm gonna heal up here, and we're gonna go team fight top probably. Almost 11, but it doesn't matter because my ulti's already been used. And I don't really want a TP either because it doesn't look very safe.
Dire's
so I'm gonna try
top
to run over
tower
quick.
is under attack.
Oh, that positioning is really not safe. Oh jeez, moonhead. Jeez, moonhead. Actually quite surprised that we're going to be able to defend. It looks like they actually backed off from that, which seems a little peculiar from my perspective.
Radiant's middle tower
I
is
also have the
under
benefit
attack.
of stealing 6 int now. That's How did I walk into that one? I want to fight this, but my team's sitting back a bit. Oh yeah, we had Ravage, that was why I wanted to fight. That's good Ravage. I only got 1 person with curse, I need to stop doing that.
Unstoppable.
He got liched before he died, which is not good. But at least PA got the Viper kill. So that's an okay fight. We used Chain Frost. Got a few heroes. Cooldowns on Curse is pretty low. I think it's 8 seconds or something. That's actually really good. That's maybe one of the most overpowered things about the skill, I dare say. 8 seconds, AoE, 400 damage, like nuke. Assuming they don't cast. It's really good. It's Pano. He's got a leap. He just leaped. Alright, we just let him die. We're like, this guy's gonna die. As soon as he got slept like that, it was over. It's really important that you don't try to save people that are definitely dead, because that could have been 2 or 3 of us dying. There was no way we were going to save that guy, and we just backed. And then it becomes 1 death for a mistake instead of 3. That's one of the biggest mistakes that people at the mid tiers make, is that they try to save people that really should not be should not be saved at all. So first item out of Tread's Wand, I buy a Point Booster. Point Booster is really good because it increases your overall survivability, and Silencer, though he doesn't have the best armor, his overall stat gain is pretty good, generally. Yeah, 2.2 is pretty good. 3 agility and 2.5, really 2.5 int. So his agi gain is actually really good, which gives him a lot of attack speed and armor gain as the levels go on. And his strength gain is pretty good at 2.2. It's not amazing, it's not a strength heal, but it's not bad. It's like we have to fight. I maybe should have global silenced this. I'm not entirely sure. I wanted to maybe try to lead this off.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It seemed pretty obvious that they had a ward to me because they adjusted their positioning, so. Maybe I'm just cheating because I saw the ward this time, but I've still got global silence. We don't have Ravage yet, so we have to be careful. I should have taken the
Close in.
It's a pretty okay trade. Support for support when we're behind is a good thing. I was happy with that. Yo, I haven't seen like any Fiend's Grips yet this game, which is really weird. The Bane's playing a little too aggressive, I think. Diving like that by himself just for a kill. Like, he got a kill, but our initiation range is really big because of the
Radiant's
having
middle
a PA, so
tower
he
is
has to be
under
pretty
attack.
more. He has to be a lot more careful about that basically in the future. Those kind of deaths aren't worth it. If they could grip me, for example, and start a team fight while everybody went in, that would be pretty solid, but it didn't seem very worth it in that circumstance, at least. Spending a lot of mana to do this. Oops. Probably should have been just farming mid, I think, instead. This is maybe a mistake. Maybe should use spells as well. Last Word isn't the best farming tool, but it does damage. So maybe I should have done that. But like, somebody should have been farming mid this whole time while I farm the jungle slow. Like, jungle farming is really not very quick unless you're like Ursa or Anti-Mage of the Battle Fury, or there's a lot of things. Generally standing in lane is just so much faster, because you kill a creep like every 4 seconds, and it's worth as much as like a medium creep is. The large creeps are worth like 60 to 100 gold usually. So those ones are pretty good, but usually just sitting in lane is so much better. I mean, your chances of dying in the jungle are much lower, but I should have been middle this whole time, just farming passively, because nobody else was. Although I think one of my teammates probably should have. A lot of my supports kind of stand around sometimes. That was so slow, holy crap. I remember missing that curse, but that was like the slowest thing I've ever done, maybe. Got him. It's really not worth letting that like drag out, I don't think. The curse, I mean. Like, if you cast your Bane ulti, or sorry, your sleep, it costs 165 mana, which is a lot, but that's exactly how much you'd get drained anyways from Curse of the Silent. I guess if you brain saps later, it ends up being worth it because, you know, you're getting, that's not worth it because then you have to cast brain sap. Yeah, I don't think it was worth it at all. Alright, that's a bottom ult. I'm just trying to play really safe until I get items now, and the Bane's been pretty aggressive, so I'm really scared that he's going to sneak around and initiate on me. I was probably really late on that. Oh, that change was really good.
Unstoppable double kill.
So,
A sacrifice.
Teamfight spell is really good. I cast Curse like 2 times in the fight. I cast it on 3 heroes. We had a Chain Frost with a Ravage and a Global Silence. Like, it doesn't matter how far ahead you are. Like, if we have that many teamfight abilities and you don't, like, you're gonna lose the game, or at least you're gonna lose the fight. And we'll see the graph reflect in a bit, but they can't fight through that. Like, they used everything to blow up our carry, and that's a bad hero to lose. But if we kill that many people, it ends up being completely worth it. And again, 8-second cooldown on Curse is really good. That's the thing I'm going to point out again and again. That is amazingly low cooldown for an AoE spell that does that much damage. Even if people can, like, yeah, people can cast a spell to cancel it, but it feels really good to me after looking at the numbers like that, because there are times where people aren't going to be able to stop it. So
Dire's bottom
especially during
tower
global
is
silence.
under
I
attack.
globaled and I casted that on 3 people. I definitely did some good damage there. I knew that they were dewarding here, so I was going to focus on it, but actually did get this line. He really should have silenced. He was really late on this. Anyways, now that I'm level 14, my glaives do 60% of my int, and I'm stealing all this intelligence here. So I do 75. Did I say 60 or 75? But it's been buffed recently to do 75. So now I do 70 pure damage on top of my right click, which means that heroes like that are actually really vulnerable to me. A lot of the times you play Silencer, you'll buy something like a Force Staff to ensure good positioning, but with a little bit of attack moving, which I did there, with a little bit of attack moving, you're going to be good enough to just end up killing people. Generally, it'll just take a little bit of nukes and good stuff like that. I was kind of sad that he was taking my last hits because I was so close to Ags, but again, the benefit of Ags is not only just to make your ultimate better, but also to tank up a lot. Silencer's a little squishy, but once you grab an Aghanim Scepter, you've got like 1400 HP or something like that, and then you're sitting really pretty because you've got a good teamfight ultimate. It's doing more damage. You're really survivable. You've got treads, so your attack speed's okay. You do good damage because you have glaives of wisdom. Silencer is like actually one of those heroes that just kind of needs to tank up a little bit, and he ends up being really good in terms of damage output. He's like pretty, not like really good, but he's got pretty good damage output. Pretty good team fight. Farming skills are okay, not amazing, but okay. And now we've got global silence. It's increased duration as well. Yeah, it does increase the duration by 1 second. But most importantly, it does apply the Curse of the Silence to all heroes, so if I can use that at the right time, it's going to do extra damage in team fights and should give us a good win.
Fear what you cannot see.
So we should probably try forcing fights now that we feel a little closer. The gold graph is actually apparently really not even that close. This Viper is really far up, so global silence here.
Godlike double kill.
I actually got both kills. Don't know if I got one because
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
yeah, I should be able to clean that up.
Stricken out.
He is really good against evasively mobile heroes like Queen of Pains, anti-mages,
Radiant's
Autumns,
middle
things like
tower
that.
is
Blink
under
and Dagger are
attack.
like the ultimate chasing tools. So if you're actually stronger than them, or if they're out of position and you're chasing them from where they were out of position, you're in a really good spot. We still have Ravage as well, so our ability
Radiant
to win another
structures are
fight is probably
fortified.
still likely.
Dire's
Here's
top
items
tower
if you
is
guys
under
are
attack.
curious.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
So our PA has a Helm of the Dominator and a BKB right now. That's it. I'll probably have to go back and heal here because my HP is quite low. Looks like I might just go spend time in the jungle. I'm not sure. One of the problems with Glaives of Wisdom is it's actually very countered by BKB. If your opponent's magic immune, you can't throw it, and that's a big damage loss for you. So BKBs are really good against it. If Viper builds a BKB, I don't know if he's actually not building a BKB, but if he builds a BKB, he'd be a bit more survivable. But it is really good against Viper because it just cuts through all of his armor and all of
Radiant's
his
bottom tower is
tanky
under
items that he
attack.
buys, unless he gets a BKB. If he gets a BKB, he's a good counter. So maybe in the future, if I'm ever playing Viper versus Silencer carry, I would have to get BKB most likely, because you got to stop the glaives. Sorry, it's pretty early here. It's like 9 AM. Alright, so I got a Force Staff next because mobility is something Silencer usually really needs. It also increases your intelligence by 10, which is, you know, another 7.5 pure damage, which is okay. Whenever you throw glaives, that is. But Force Staff is really good, especially against a lot of the heroes they have, actually. In some ways, it was greedy that I didn't get Force first, because if the Clockwork ever hookshots me and cogs me in, I will die, because I can't get out. Now, if anybody gets hookshotted and cogged, I can actually save them. If somebody gets Viper ultied out of position, I can Force Staff and save them. And if I'm chasing somebody and I need to get like 2 more right clicks in, or 3 more right clicks in, I can actually Force Staff to get into position next to them. So this is usually a pretty good way to go with your item build after you get an item. So I think Force Staff is definitely one of the first items you're gonna learn. I didn't even notice my illusions popped. Holy crap! I missed that one. I think I left them there until they timed out, actually. Could have used them for scouting or something. So, looks like we got a mech. We're being split pushed a little bit. My team's grouping up too much. They need to spread out a bit more and farm. A lot of people do this when I play with people that are lower level
Dire's
than me,
top tower
and
is under
they're in a party
attack.
with me. They generally follow me a little too much. Like Moonhead does this a lot. He'll just kind of follow me all the time because he knows that I know what to do better than him, but he doesn't really know what to do, so he just kind of follows me. And it's really counterproductive to do this. You have to make sure that you're always being efficient with your time. Like all this time, I just had 2
Dire's
people follow me to the
top
top
tower has
lane.
been
They could have
denied.
killed at least 1 jungle camp, and then our team has 100 more gold than they did before. And that might lead to something. That could lead to like another set of wards, or that could lead to finishing an item before a certain key fight where if you would have had a Force Staff or something, we could have won it. But we have 4 heroes in the same lane as if they're going to 5-man jump on me. And that's probably not very likely at all. And I'm not asking them to do that, but it's really important that you guys, if you're in a stage like them and you're playing with somebody better than you, that you're efficient with your time. Unless they tell you to group up and fight, or if the enemy team is grouping up and they're almost at a tower, then it's good to group up. But if you're during downtimes like this, it's really important that you spread out and all individually farm. And that's one of the hardest things, one of the most frustrating things as well, when playing games like this, is that my allies generally don't know what
Radiant's
to do with their
bottom tower
downtime.
is under attack.
The Tidehunter could be farming a jungle camp. The Lich could be farming a jungle camp. Shadow Shaman definitely can be farming a jungle camp because he has an AoE. These are all heroes that can do something with their downtime, and nothing's being done. I'm the only person farming right now, which means it's probably why our build graph looks like this, to be honest. Because they're farming better than we are. Yeah, look, as time goes on and nothing happens, they're farming way better than we are. In like a 2-minute period, they gained like 2,500 gold on us, and that's ridiculous. That should not happen. It's actually just me and PA farming, essentially. We have 3 people that aren't getting CS anywhere, so now they're pushing bottom again. And that's the other problem with it, is that if you form man all the time, and my supports just follow me wherever I'm going, we're always going to get split push, because I saw this guy was here. I kind of wanted to go after that, but I thought it was dangerous. I didn't know where the rest of their team was, so I didn't know if they're all there, and I didn't want to run uphill into a bunch of guys. But so if all of my supports are following me, and it's 3 or 4 of us in a group, then all our opponents have to do is push all 3 waves at the same time. Because technically, if we have a group of 4 and we have a solo PA farming, we only have 2 people that can do stuff on the map. And do stuff means like push lanes, take towers, take Roshan, blah blah blah. But I global silenced because I knew that he had used Fiend's Grip.
Target.
So, if we only have 2 units on the map that can basically push or take tactics and stuff, that means the split push is going to beat us every time, especially if we have an immobile teamfight lineup. If we have a big teamfight lineup, we want to fight and they don't want to, so they're just going to split push. So it's really good that you guys get those habits down and spread out more often. You also have to be careful though on the opposite coin. It's good if you spread out, but you also have to make sure that you're not dying while you spread out. If you spread out and then you start getting killed and killed and killed, then you're having another issue. Then they're just ganking you and you're going to lose the game because of that as well. So being able to spread out efficiently and farm and distribute farm correctly during downtimes is really important for winning games. And it's one of the most frustrating things that I experience when I play with people worse than me, so I'm guessing for the average player that it's going to be a concern. Pretty easy kill here.
That will shut you up.
I told everybody to run away because they're invisible.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Wasn't sure if there'd be an arrow, so I force-staffed him last second.
Radiant's top tower
In the
is under
meantime, if we
attack.
take that tower, it'd be really good. Would the BKB, is that bottom? Yeah, it is bottom.
Radiant's top
I'm sick
tower
of getting
has
last
fallen.
worded, I guess. There's an MKB on the Viper, I believe, which is a good
Radiant's top
choice against
tower
the
is
PA.
under attack.
Holy crap, look at this.
You're not going anywhere.
He dies so fast with an MKB. Although PA is actually, I really should have continued chasing. This is my bad.
Double kill. Unstoppable. Triple kill.
I've stolen 34 int, by the way, this game. Just by team fighting and ganking and stuff. We're definitely team fighting better than them. I didn't even use global silence during that fight. I really didn't need to. It was like we were constantly chasing them. Who's the first kill? The Bane? Yeah, the Bane got out of position, I think.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Should have been using my glaive here just to push a little faster. I mean, I've got way more mana than I'm ever gonna need, so I really didn't need to conserve here for like 70 glaive mana. Well, this bonus int is really useful though.
Radiant's bottom tower is
If you
under
do get
attack.
to start snowballing, it can really affect like your opponent's mana pools. If we look at them really quick, I want to see what they're like. Viper's is a little low. He's probably lost like at least 10 int or something.
Radiant's
3 int
bottom
maybe.
tower has fallen.
Bane's int is actually pretty low despite having an arcane boost, I think. He's actually really low. He can't cast his 3 spells together. He actually doesn't have enough mana for it. Bottom is pretty low, 600. Shakira's having no problem. And Clockwork is fairly fine. But it does have big implications. The person that's missing the most is the Bane, I think, by far. His numbers look... Ooh, I almost got arrowed there. That was really close. I could have silenced him.
Wicked soul. Monster kill.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Luckily for me, I had the Viper poison on me, so it broke the nightmare. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to get that kill.
Dreaming.
Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower
I really
has
missed on my
fallen.
4-stack.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I wanted to buy a sheep stick, but you can't buy any more than that, so I still ended up losing gold for dying, I think. Actually, I didn't lose it that much. Considering I lost a godlike streak, I actually didn't lose
Dire's
that
middle
much because I
tower
bought out
is
there.
under attack.
But I think I still like... Yeah, I actually did save gold. I only lost about like 400 gold for dying, I think, instead
Dire's
of like
top tower
1300
is
or
under
something.
attack.
And I was able to pick up an ultimate orb before I died, so it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I was like, God, I wish I could have bought out there, but
Dire's
I mostly
middle
bought
tower
out.
is under attack.
Considering how much I could have lost, that was not bad. I should have been paying attention though. I should have flown the courier out. There's no reason to like always wait until the last 5 seconds to queue up your buyout. I mean, obviously I couldn't do it because the courier wasn't there, but why not like fly the courier out? I could have been like, huh, I've got 5,600 gold and there's like very little chance that they'll access anytime soon. Like, why not fly out the courier and buy something that you want? I could make a Shiva's, I could make a Hex, I could make even a Lincoln's or something as possible. I could get a Blink Dagger. There's a lot of really good things that I could have gotten. And that could have saved me 600 gold. Like, all the work that I put into this game to snowball was, some of it was lost because I died right there. 600 gold of it. That's like 2 kills. 2 of the kills I got this game in some ways were irrelevant because I didn't plan ahead to buy an item. Like, it's such a stupid reason to make that mistake. Like, it's so stupid. It's such a simple thing too. I don't know. So I'm gonna hold the Mystic Staff for now while I'm waiting for the last 300 gold to finish the Sheepstick. Sheepstick is really good in this position in my opinion because they have 2 cores that are fairly good to kill. Viper as well as the Mirana are very good hex targets, especially when they have BKBs. And it's still only the Mirana that has it, but if you can hex her before she gets a BKB off, it's really good. God, I hit for so much pure damage. 141 pure right now is ridiculous. That is so much damage. I basically hit for like a Divine Rapier more or less right now. It's pretty incredible. That should be my hex. Sheep sticking carries is really good before they BKB. Possible. Alright. This also gives you 10 attack speed and it gives you 190 HP.
Dire's middle tower
really
is under attack.
Hex on Silencer is a good buy. You can buy Refresher as well. That's what a lot of Silencers actually purchase, is Refresher, so that they can ulti twice. But I think in some cases that's a little overkill.
Dire's middle tower has been denied.
It goes through BKB, so I mean you can silence people through BKB, I believe. But I don't think it's that. I don't know. The Refresher is pretty good against supports, because if you initiate on them and you can silence for like 14 seconds, that's so good. I don't know. Maybe Refresher is worth it no matter what. Alright, I would argue this. If they have a lot of heroes that don't carry BKBs,
Roshan has fallen to the Dire.
I was really slow on that. Could have been a lot faster. And I'm like wasting all my That fight like really came to me.
Triple kill!
Out of the veil.
That fight like really came to
And
me.
not heard.
I don't like my position in that fight. I don't think I did a good job. And I also wasn't watching to see the heroes approaching from the river, like the turtle spot where that ward is. If you look at my mouse here, like right here, this spot here. I think I should have been watching in this area better instead of just looking. I kept my camera right here and I just fought what I could see. But I should have looked to assess the fight, because like for example, I used Curse the Silent on 2 guys, which is pretty good. But what if I looked down and I saw 3 people running in and I could curse 3 people instead? That might have been better, for example. And I probably should have last worded the Viper again, just because if he's already ultied, which he probably did at the start of the fight, if he's already ultied, then I can guaranteed disarm him for 6 seconds during a fight. And if a Viper can't attack for 6 seconds, that's a huge advantage. That's like a hex essentially on a hero. And I did end up hexing him instead, but I think it would have been way better if I ended up using last word on him and then maybe curse on the approaching enemies while my ulti was up. So yeah, I would to talk about Refresher a little bit more. I really feel like Refresher feels a lot more like a Refresher, I think, is a lot more of a counter to the supports, but I think Sheepstick is a lot more of a counter to a carry. So if you're having trouble dealing with BKB carries, I think a Sheepstick is a better choice. But if you're dealing with a lot of supports, or if they don't have a lot of BKBs, then Refresher is by far the better choice, because then you can just stop them from being able to cast anything. The Bane wouldn't be able to cast anything, the Jakiro wouldn't be able to cast anything, the Clockwork can't cast anything, and you've also done 400 magic damage to them every single time because of the Curse of the Silence. So, and you have so much mana as a Silencer that you can easily afford the Refresher mana cost. So that's how I would argue for the third item. I think Force After Eggs is in a lot of ways unconditional, although Refresher right after Eggs could be really good. Sometimes delaying it by 2,000 gold is too much. If you have allies that can back you up, yeah, I don't think you need Force Staff, but our supports this game were pretty good. They were pretty good. I guess I don't have to worry too much about getting backed up, but It's hard to say, but Refresher's really good with Ags. It just, like, if you're playing a
Radiant's
support
middle
sometime and you're
tower
up
is
against
under
it,
attack.
and you get ultied, and you take 400 damage, and you're like, I'm gonna cast, and then he refreshes again, and he ulties again.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Like, there's literally nothing that those supports could do for 14 seconds if I had a Refresher. They actually couldn't do anything. And that's just like
Radiant's
the
top
nastiest
tower
thing.
has
It takes
fallen.
2 heroes out of the fight entirely. So if we start a fight and we force them to fight it, which we can with a PA, like, you can't win that
Radiant's
fight.
middle tower
That's
is
really
under
good.
attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
It's basically a really good point why you should probably get Refresher.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen. Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
Monster kill.
I was really salty about the ganks, but again, watching them now, I made a lot of mistakes that could have kept me alive. I wasn't always running the correct path. I didn't see who was coming.
Godlike double kill.
Those are pretty important. Going AC after this point, generally a Shiva's is going to be better because it gives you int, which gives you pure
Radiant's
damage.
middle tower is under
It
attack.
gives you an AoE slow, which is good for disables, but I think sometimes AC is situationally okay because your physical damage is actually really good. I do 244 physical because I have so much int. It's really not that weird for me to just go
Radiant's middle
AC
tower is
instead.
under
The attack
attack.
speed is really good, obviously. It's a bit of a trade-off. Like if you get Shiva's Guard, you get slightly more pure damage. You also get
Radiant's
more
middle
int, so you
tower
get more
has
damage.
fallen.
So you get like 30 damage, and you get like 25 pure damage, which is like 55
Radiant's
damage. That's
top
really good.
barracks has fallen.
But I already have so much damage
Radiant's
that I
top
thought an
barracks
AC was
has
better
fallen.
because it
The
makes my
Dire
PA do
now
more
have
damage.
mega creeps.
It makes me attack faster. I do 255 physical anyways, so a little bit of minus armor is not bad.
Victory.
Both items are situationally good. I would say if it's early game and you don't have a lot of int stolen and you don't have a lot of items, Shiva's is by far better if you really need an armor item. But if it's late game like this, where I already have like lots of right click and lots of int and all this stuff, I think AC is the better choice, especially because I had a physical carry. So you're almost never gonna see an AC on Silencer, but I think this is like a very situational case where AC was better than a Shiva's, because I was DPSing and because I had a lot more right click and because I didn't go Refresher. If I went Refresher eggs, I would definitely get a Shiva's because. Yeah, because you can refresh the Shivas. That's good. That's especially good. If I would definitely go Shivas then, because you can refresh the Shivas. You're more of a tanky build and less of a DPS build. This build was far more DPS because I went Sheepstick. Sheepstick gives attack speed. It gives you a big int count. I guess Shivas does that as well, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but that's kind of how I would go for everything, I guess. Anyways, I guess that's it for the video. If you guys are still here, thanks for watching. If you guys want to support the team or support me, you can buy the Nixus or the Nixus Zephyr earbuds. See, it says a little Zephyr logo. They're really great. I use them literally every day. I think they're awesome. That's it for today's video. Thanks for enjoying everything. I assume you guys are enjoying stuff. If not, sorry you don't enjoy it. I'll get you guys another video tomorrow, hopefully. I don't have too much to do, so yeah, I guess that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you later. Bye. That was Silencer. Enjoy.